All right, we are live, and it looks like some attendees are going to start trickling in here. Welcome, everybody. We're going to hold on for about a minute here while we let all the attendees join. Once that number levels off, we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll give it about another 60 seconds here. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sandra Hall, and I'm a board member of the Davis Electric Vehicle Association located in Northern California, and I'm helping to facilitate this session. First off, I would like to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. If you have any technical difficulties, please drop a note in the chat box, and I'll do my best to help you. When the time comes, if you can add your questions to the Q&A box, that would also be greatly appreciated. This session is being hosted by the Electric Auto Association supporting EV education and National Drive Electric Week. As you'll see in the webinar chat box, there is a link to the National Drive Electric Week events web page. We definitely recommend that you check it out, as there's more than 100 sessions on topics relating to choosing an EV, sustainable EV technology, EV basics and plugins, and various EV incentives like we are going to learn about tonight. So without further ado, I would like to pass it off to Julia Rivera.
Oh, thank you, Sandra. So like Sandra mentioned, thank you everyone for joining us today. Today, we are joined by two guest speakers, Adrian Gomez, the Community Engagement Manager at Beneficial State Foundation, and Rebecca Fisher, the Program Lead for Outreach and Partnerships at Bay Area Air Quality Management District. And my name is Julia Rivera, and I'm an Equity Specialist for the Center for Sustainable Energy, or for short, CSE. So let's go ahead. So to start off, CSE's mission is to decarbonize. Our team works to reduce carbon dioxide emissions and works to essentially work toward a more sustainable, equitable, and resilient future. CSE is a nonprofit that for the past 20 plus years has offered clean energy program administration. We're headquartered in San Diego and have team members across the state of California, as well as a few on the East Coast. And today I'm coming to you from Berkeley. We are 200 employees strong, working on about 50 different projects and programs. And through those projects and programs, again, our goal is to decarbonize. So before I go ahead and start with the EV 101, we will go ahead and launch our first poll. So this will just kind of gauge what everyone might be driving already. So let's go ahead and launch that first poll. We'll go ahead and leave this up for a few seconds to allow everyone to fill their answers in. Got a good variety going so far. There we go, almost done here. We can go ahead and end the poll now. So it looks like 2 people on the line have driven a battery electric car. 3, the majority are on gas, and 1 person rides the bus. So good variety here. One reason it's good to see a lot of people are currently driving on gas-powered vehicles is because, you know, we're going to be here to tell you all about EVs and why they're great, right? Let's go ahead and get started with EV 101. I'll be going over 4 different types of vehicles and why one might choose one EV over another. First is a conventional hybrid. This is mainly powered by gas, and regenerative braking is what converts energy and stores it to run the motor. So this is for drivers who want to reduce their emissions, but either don't want to charge or don't have access to charging. So for example, if someone lives in an apartment and thus doesn't have an outlet that they can easily plug into overnight or anytime they might need it, and in addition to that, they don't live near any public charging stations, then a hybrid may be a good option for them since it doesn't require any charging from an external source. So with that being said, since a conventional hybrid has gas as its main source of power and it cannot be plugged in to charge, it is not eligible for the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project. And I'll go ahead and dive into that more later. The next vehicle is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, or PHEV. This is powered by both gas and electricity. And this is for drivers who want that electric-only mode, but still need the option of gas to meet their needs. So this is me. So I actually don't have a car since Berkeley is a very walkable city. But among the EVs I'll be going over today, this is the one that's most suitable for me, most suitable for my needs and my lifestyle. And that's because I generally have short commutes, short commutes just within Berkeley or from Berkeley to Oakland, vice versa. But I do live in an apartment. So because of that, I don't have an outlet that I can easily plug into overnight. However, this is kind of balanced and countered by the fact that I do live around many public charging stations and some that are even free. So because of those reasons, having that electric only mode is actually all good for me. But here's where the importance of gas comes in. So every month or every other month or so, I do plan on driving down to Southern California to visit my family. So that's nearly 500 miles each direction. So just for me personally, I would want the option of gas there to meet my needs. So that's kind of one reason why one person might choose a PHEV. So now the total range and time it takes to fully charge a PHEV is highly dependent on the model, but the approximate range is anywhere from 150 miles to 570 miles total, 11 to 53 of which miles would be on electricity. Some newer models, though, are capable of having a greater range, like over 600 miles, like the Toyota Prius Prime and Hyundai Ioniq plug-in. Again, that of course depends on your driving habits, but those are 2 examples of vehicles that are capable of reaching those higher ranges. The next type of vehicle is a battery electric vehicle, or BEV for short. And as the name suggests, this is powered by a battery, so there's no gas at all. So this is for drivers who want to achieve zero tailpipe emissions and also have access to charging opportunities. So for example, if you own or live in a house and can charge right in your garage, and generally you just have pretty short commutes, like to and from work, to and from your local grocery store or your favorite restaurant, then this could be a pretty good option for you. And similar to a PHEV, the total range and time it takes to charge a BEV is highly dependent on the model. But as you may notice, that upper end of that range, the 270 miles, is a lot less than the PHEV's upper end range. And that's because BEVs don't have the option of gas. So their total range just depends on, it's limited by the battery size. So that's the reasoning behind that one. But the approximate range is anywhere from 60 miles to 270 miles. And some of the BEVs that are able to reach those higher ranges include the Hyundai Kona and the Chevy Bolt. And now the final vehicle is the fuel cell electric vehicle, or FCEV. This is powered by hydrogen. And this is for drivers who want to combine the zero the zero emission driving of BEVs with the quick and easy refueling of hydrogen. So this type of vehicle can have anywhere from 250 to 300 miles of range. And the main difference between this type of EV and the other two is that it takes only about 5 minutes to refuel. So very similar to the amount of time it takes to refill, your gasoline tank. And something to note with FCEVs though is that there are only about 40 hydrogen fueling stations in California, roughly around there. So if you do live near one of those, then that's awesome. This is definitely a vehicle that you'd be able to, keep on your radar. So that sums it up for EV 101. So before I move on to charging, let me see if anyone has any questions. If anyone does, oops. And if anyone does, feel free to shoot them right in the chat. Oopsie. Okay. Checking the chat box to see if there are any questions. Oh, thank you guys. So it looks like there are BEVs that can now get up to over 400 miles. So that's awesome. And it looks like there aren't any questions about any of those electric vehicles. So I'll go ahead and move on to charging. So I'll be going over the different levels of charging. And the first one is level 1 charging. So this is a good option. You can do this right from home. And with this, you can get anywhere from 3.5 to 6.5 miles of range per hour of charge. Although this is the slowest method of charging, it is sufficient for most drivers. Charging cables at this level usually do come with the vehicle, and it would plug right into a standard 120 volt outlet. So an outlet similar to what you probably charge your phone right into, that would be that 120 volt outlet. And then we've got level 2 charging, which is a better option. Again, you can do this right from home, but it is also available at public charging stations. And with this, you can get anywhere from 14 to about 35 miles of range per hour of charge. So it's definitely faster than level 1 charging. These charging stations do require a dedicated 240 volt outlet. So an outlet similar to what you may plug your electric stove or washer dryer system into would be that 240 volt outlet. And again, you can do this away from home. Most public charging stations do offer level 2 charging. And last but not least is DC fast charging. This is the best and fastest electric charging currently available. You can do this at public charging stations only. It's available at many shopping centers as well as major travel corridors. And with it, you can get about 100 to 200 miles of range per hour of charge. So it's definitely a lot quicker than the previous two. So that makes it, more suitable for those longer trips. Something to consider though, before you go ahead and purchase or lease that new EV, is that DC fast charging is not available for all EVs. So before you make that purchase or lease, you want to make sure to check with the manufacturer to determine if your vehicle's battery and connector system are compatible with fast charging. So that sums it up for charging 101. Let me check if any questions have come in. Yep, so Guy mentioned that you can charge while you sleep, and that's exactly right. So let's say even if you just have a short commute to work, you get back from work, just plug in your EV, and then it'll be all ready to go the next morning. That's a wonderful point by Lawrence, with the BEV's capability there, especially combined with fast charging. So thank you, Lawrence. I'll definitely consider BEVs more now too. And we have a question from Andrew. How is DC the fastest when there is level 3 supercharging? Okay, so my colleague Mari, who is also on the line, are you able to give the answer to that question?
Do you like some help from Guy?
Yes, Guy.
Yes, Guy, we would love help.
Let's go.
And for those that are in the audience, Guy, please introduce yourself, and your expertise is much valued.
Well, thank you. You're generous, Marisol. So I'm with the National Electric Auto Association, and we're the ones that are, along with Sierra Club and the Plug in America, help organizing and sponsoring the National Drive Electric Week. So there is technically really no, level 3 is not a term that's used for fast charging. It's engineers, when they come up with terms, are just terrible. I mean, some of the worst terms. So you would have expected them to say level 3, but they decide no, for technical reasons, they want to call it DC fast charging. Difference between AC and DC and all that stuff. But for us regular people, this 400 volt of very fast charging you see on corridors or out at shopping centers, perhaps, is the fast charging that Julia was referring to. And the supercharging is Tesla's term for a proprietary fast charging stations that they have for the Teslas. And they're also what we call a type of fast charging. So in general, you'll see Tesla and non-Tesla fast chargers out there, and you can use applications like plugshare.com to help locate them, or your car will find them generally in the screen in the car. And Andrew, did I, or whoever had asked that, did I answer the question? Okay, good. And please carry on.
Thank you so much, Guy. All right, so on the topic of charging, I'll go ahead and tell you about a program also administered by CSE called Cali VIP. Now, although this isn't exactly about EVs, it is related in the sense that this is about the chargers for EVs. So Cali VIP stands for the California Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Project, and it offers rebates for the purchase and installation of level 2 and DC fast chargers at publicly accessible sites throughout California. So eligible applicants for this program could qualify for up to $80,000 per DC fast charger and up to $7,500 per level 2 connector. And increased rebates are available for multi-unit dwellings, disadvantaged communities, as well as low-income communities. So as a quick example, let's say you live in an apartment and your current apartment complex has a parking lot, but that's public, but it doesn't have any charging stations there yet, then this is something you could tell your landlord about. And if they apply, they could be eligible for these amounts right here to have these chargers installed at your public parking lot. So there's a quick example of how you could share Cali VIP, like if you know any business owners or any landowners, any landlords, etc. And here's just a scope of the current and upcoming Cali VIP projects. So currently we have projects going on in Southern California, in Sacramento County, Northern California, Central Coast, San Joaquin Valley, and Sonoma Coast. Next month, it's coming to San Diego County, and hopefully by December, also in Peninsula Silicon Valley and San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. Now, if you are in a similar situation that I mentioned earlier about having a landlord and a parking lot in your apartment complex, and you think this is something your landlord may be interested in, we highly recommend that you go ahead and tell them sooner rather than later so that they can apply sooner, since funding sometimes could go very quickly. So if you are interested, you or someone you know might be interested in this program, you can visit calivip.org, or you can contact our project staff at this phone number or at calivip@energycenter.org. Let me pause real quick. I saw some questions come in. My chat bubble isn't showing up though.
You're good, Julia. You
Oh,
can
okay.
continue. Yeah, there were just some clarifying questions. You're good.
Okay, thanks, Maddie. So now that we've gotten those overviews done, it's time for clean transportation incentives. But before I dive into that, I believe we have our second and final poll ready to go. Here it is. How familiar are you with electric vehicle incentives? So with this question, there is no wrong answer at all. It's just to kind of get a gauge of where everyone is with this so that we know what we can place more focus on when we present. We'll give this a few more seconds so that everyone can put in their answers. Maybe we can go ahead and end the poll there. So it looks like the majority has heard of several of these incentives, but are not all too familiar. So we actually have a good range here. We even have an expert in the house. That's pretty cool. I hope you're still able to learn something new. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and jump right into clean transportation incentives. So we will be going over 3 different programs today. I'll be going over the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project, or CVRP. Adrian will be going over the Clean Vehicle Assistance Program, or CVA program. And then Rebecca will be going over Clean Cars for All. So I'll give you just a quick overview right now, and then we'll jump right in. So CVRP is a statewide program that provides additional incentives for low to moderate income communities, and this is for the purchase or lease of a new vehicle. The CVA program is another statewide program. This one provides grants and affordable financing, and it can be used on new or used vehicles. And last but not least is Clean Cars for All. This is a regional program for Bay Area Air Quality Management District residents, and it helps particularly communities that are most impacted by air pollution. And this can be used on new or used vehicles. So after we go over these programs, we'll go over a few other additional incentives and get right to it. So first up is CVRP. Again, this is a statewide program. It's funded by cap and trade auction proceeds. And this provides a rebate of up to $7,000 for the purchase or lease of a new and eligible electric vehicle. Something important to keep in mind is that you must apply within 3 months of your purchase or lease date. And then once you go through the application process and are approved, you would get your rebate in the form of a check. And as you can see towards the right side, that's our website right there. If you're interested in checking that out, cleanvehiclerebate.org. Okay. So as far as the applicant eligibility goes, applicants must be a California resident. They must purchase a new and eligible clean vehicle. And this eligible vehicle list is right on our website, the cleanvehiclerebate.org. You'll be able to see all the eligible vehicles there. Next, you have to submit your application within 3 months of your vehicle purchase or lease date. You must meet income requirements for the tax year being reviewed. I'll go over that in the next couple slides. And lastly, you must retain ownership of the vehicle in California for at least 30 months. So whether you're purchasing or leasing, you'd have to own that vehicle for at least 30 months. And now we are moving on to income eligibility. So there are two pieces for this. One that's more just in general to be able to qualify for CVRP as far as income goes. And the other piece is for the increased rebate amount. So this is the general piece to qualify for the standard rebate amount. And the income caps are as follows: $150,000 for single filers, $204,000 for head of household filers, and $300,000 for joint filers. So if you're making below these, income-wise, you'd be eligible for the program. And now the second piece I mentioned is for the increased rebate amount. So let's say you're a household size of 4, making at or below $78,600, then you would be eligible for an additional $2,500. So if your combined household income is less than these amounts, you would qualify income-wise for the increased rebate amount. And this slide, it provides a chart that kind of gives a breakdown of those income eligibility pieces. So the rebate amount depends on the type of vehicle that you get and on your income. So for a plug-in hybrid, the standard rebate is $1,000. For a BEV, it's $2,000. And for a FCEV, it is $4,500. And with the increased rebate amount, you'd bring up those rebate amounts by $2,500. So this is a summary of those rebate amounts. Now, as far as vehicle eligibility requirements go, the vehicle, again, must be new and on the eligible vehicle list. The odometer reading must be less than 7,500 miles. The MSRP of the vehicle must be less than $60,000. And original lease terms, as mentioned earlier, must be for at least 30 months. And that covers it for CVRP. If you have any questions, please feel free to insert them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. So I'll give a few seconds in case anyone has questions. And I'm not able to see anything on my end. So maybe we'll just go ahead and move on. Okay, so that's all for CVRP. I'm ready to pass the mic to our very first guest speaker. So our first guest speaker is the Community Engagement Manager for the Clean Vehicle Assistance Program at Beneficial State Foundation. He is very passionate about advancing clean mobility tech and opportunities in disadvantaged communities and communities of color. So it's my pleasure to introduce Adrian Gomez.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Julia. I appreciate it. First and foremost, I want to thank CVRP and CSE for giving us the opportunity to give you all our spiel and kind of give you a little bit of insight into the Clean Vehicle Assistance Program. So we're very, very excited to be here today and to, just share our program with you all. So I'm going to get started. Oh, there we go. So with the Clean Vehicle Assistance Program, you can qualify for up to $5,000 to purchase a vehicle that would save you money and help the environment. So if a down payment or purchasing a new clean vehicle is a challenge, then the CVA program may be for you. The Clean Vehicle Assistance Program qualifies low to moderate income Californians for up to $5,000 to purchase or lease a new or used clean vehicle. Additionally, participants may be eligible for an additional $2,000 towards the purchase and installation of a level 2 home charging unit or a mobile level 2 charger and a 1,000 prepaid charge card to use at public charging stations. So the great thing about this program is that the grants are down payments and don't have to be paid back. And that also applies to $2,000 for the charging options grant that some of our participants may qualify for. And then also another great thing about the CVA program is that it's actually stackable with CVRP. So that's super exciting, where individuals that qualify for both incentives can get you know, an incentive in the beginning to initiate the process of purchasing a vehicle, and then they can get a rebate at the end as well after their purchase. And so I believe there's going to be some information as to how these programs can be stackable. So yeah, we'll go ahead and cover that as well. So the process for qualifying for a clean vehicle grant is fairly simple. You start by completing and submitting your application at cleanvehiclegrants.org. It's a very streamlined process. We do ask for, you know, basic information, you know, residency, proof of residency as well, proof of income, because there are income requirements for this program as well. And you can find that information all at cleanvehiclegrants.org. You can sift through our website and find that information there as well. So to qualify, participants must be, like I said, California residents and meet the income qualifications. And then some of those qualifications, for example, is for a one-person household. If the individual makes less than $51,040, they would qualify, all the way up to a four-person household where if the maximum gross annual income for that was $104,800, the individual would qualify for a clean vehicle grant. So after being approved, participants will receive an approval packet with details and instructions to redeem their grant. And so when this happens, our participants should start looking for a vehicle and or a loan to complete the purchase of their clean vehicle. Also, we partner with over 170 dealerships throughout California, and this is where our participants can redeem their grants. And then kind of touching on working with partners, we also work with Beneficial State Bank, who is offering our participants with Challenge Credit, a special loan product that they can combine with the CVA program grant to finalize their purchase. And so individuals with a FICO score of 550 or higher may be able to qualify for a loan with a capped interest rate at 8%. So more information about that is available on our website and throughout the app and during the application. And so once our participants have completed their vehicle purchase, our partnerships take over the process there, and they'll finalize the documents that we need to redeem the grant. So what ends up happening is our partner dealerships will send us, for example, the purchase agreement and any other documentation we need to ensure that the vehicle's integrity is intact. And so we ask for things like a mechanic's checklist if the vehicle's used, a Carfax if the vehicle's used, and if there's any recalls for the vehicle, you know, we also ask to see that those have been rectified. And then there's more information available on our website as to the vehicle requirements in order for vehicles to qualify for the grant. Let's go ahead and move on. So as I stated earlier, we're here to help low to moderate income Californians get into clean vehicles. And a majority of our participants have incomes below the living wage of their counties. And to date, we've served over 880 participants throughout the state, and we're, you know, excited to be getting individuals into clean vehicles. And yeah, and I think with that, I can go ahead and wrap it up and open it up to any questions. I saw a couple of things kind of come up on the chat box, so let me go ahead and take a look. Yes, stackable does mean that you can use it in conjunction with other incentives. And so as of right now, the CVA program is only stackable with CVRP. It may also be stackable with local utility incentives, so you may want to look into that. But as of right now, those are the main ones. And I do not see any other questions on here. But if you all have a question, you know,
Adrian, this is Guy. A question has come up asking, is there a lifetime limit to the number of rebates that you can request?
Yes, you can get 2 per lifetime, but there has to be a 30-month separation in between from the time you get your first one to the second one. And then I also saw, can I use it to buy a used vehicle from not a dealership? Unfortunately, it has to be from a dealership and has to be from a dealership from our network, but it can be a used vehicle.
And Guy, for clarity purposes, with the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project, it is only once in your lifetime now. So for CVRP, we have just once. For Adrian, it sounds like twice. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and put my contact information on here in the webinar chat box, just so that individuals can have my information. And I believe Marisol, we had it in the previous presentation, but presentations got switched around, so that didn't get transferred over. But I'll go ahead and share that information now on the chat box. And then, yeah, if you all have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We're here all the time to answer any questions that we have, and to make sure that our participants have a smooth process throughout either application.
Thank you so much, Adrian. And
Yes,
again, and anyone on the line, if you do have further questions, please do feel free to reach out to Adrian. He's a great guy, and his email is right in the chat box. And if you just want to learn some more details about the CVA program, go ahead and visit cleanvehiclegrants.org or any of their social media pages. So next up, we will have our second and final guest speaker of the day to talk about Clean Cars for All. Our next guest speaker has represented the U.S. at the Paris, Marrakesh, and Bonn UN climate negotiations, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals summits. And she has worked to support a future where all Bay Area residents can participate in the EV revolution. So without further ado, let's welcome and give a virtual applause for Rebecca Fisher.
Thank you, Julia, and good to see everyone today, this evening, and thanks for inviting us to present here on this webinar. So again, I'm with the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, which is a mouthful, but basically we run the Clean Cars for All program for the Bay Area, which is the 9 counties that surround the San Francisco Bay. Next slide, please. So what is our big idea? What is Clean Cars for All about? So essentially, it's very similar to Adrian's program. We provide grants for income qualified Bay Area residents to retire their old car and replace it with a plug-in hybrid, a battery electric car, or a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. Additionally, we also offer a prepaid debit card to use on public transit and a prepaid debit card for electric bikes. So the idea being that we're not just replacing an older car with another car, but that if folks want to take public transit or ride an e-bike, we can also provide them with funding for that. And the Bay Area program is supported from both funds within the Air District, our own funding, but also from funding for the cap and trade proceeds from the California Air Resources Program. Next slide. Great, so currently available replacement options for Clean Cars for All include electric vehicles. I just kind of ticked them off for you earlier. We also offer a home charger similar to Adrian's program. So that's up to $2,000 for a home charger. And we also offer portable charging. So for folks who can't live in an apartment or can't install a home charger, we provide you with a home charger that is not as fast as a level 2 charger, which Julia spoke about, but is not as slow as a level 1 charger. And you can plug it into a normal port, or you can plug it into the NEMA outlet, which is the outlet that you plug a laundry machine into or an electric stove into. And you can kind of charge on the go or charge at home without having to install something into your home. And then, as I mentioned, we also offer up to $7,500 for public transit. And at least here in the Bay Area, it takes the average commuter 3 years to work through $7,500 on a Clipper card, which is what we use to use Muni in San Francisco, BART, and a few other local transit operators. Coming soon, which we're very excited about, we'll be offering a car share option. So this is not ride hailing. So this is not Uber and Lyft, but rather car sharing. At least here in the Bay Area, there are services like Gig and Envoy, and there's several others that basically you share a car. It functions on an iPhone or excuse me, a smartphone application, and you can reserve a time and drive it around town. Again, the idea being that we're not replacing, someone's not scrapping a car and replacing it with another car, but rather we're providing someone with an alternative mobility option to buying another kind of single occupancy vehicle. Coming soon also is a public EV charging card. This is a nod to the folks who participate in our program that aren't able to charge at home, and that portable charger is still just not enough. A lot of the full battery electric cars will take a while to charge on that portable charger. So we're working really hard to offer a public charge card, and that'll probably be about $1,000 on a public charge card. And then finally, e-bikes, which I think the Bay Area has just bloomed into this e-bike mecca. Everyone's selling out of e-bikes, and they're really hard to come by during shelter in place. And we wanted to make sure that our income qualified grantees can participate in that. So we're working to offer that in the near future as well. And next slide, please. Right, so eligibility. Again, Adrian kind of beat me to the punch. Very similar, except for we're for the Bay Area, so you have to live within our jurisdiction. Your household income must fall within one of our specified income brackets. Again, exactly what Adrian said is the same for our program, and it's all on our website if you want to take a look at it. We do have different categories of grants, so the lower your income, the higher the grant you will receive from our program. You also must have an old car that is registered in your name here in California. It's a Model Year 2005 or older, and it has to be under 10,000 pounds. That's the car that you will scrap and then will replace with the clean mobility option or the electric vehicle. And then you also must be a new applicant to a vehicle replacement grant program. So similar to CVRP, this grant is you can only have one grant per lifetime per household. And household is defined as how you'll file your taxes. If you file jointly, that is your household. But if you just happen to be living with a roommate, there's two separate households in the way that we define that in our program. Next slide, please. So to apply, how do you apply? You go to our website, which will be at the end of the presentation, but it's a fairly simple process, streamlined, all online. There's an eligibility questionnaire that's the first step that is really quick, easy for you to do. If you're confused about all the various eligibility requirements that I just went through, just fill out the application form and it'll tell you whether or not you are eligible. It's a kind of a survey questionnaire. And then once you are eligible, then you bring your car to one of our authorized dismantlers to have the vehicle verified. That's your old car. We just want to make sure that it is indeed registered to you, that it is indeed 2005 or older, and that it can generally move forwards and backwards. The idea being that we want to take a car off the road that is currently being driven and creating air emissions and replace it with a clean vehicle or a clean mobility option. Then once you are fully eligible, so you've finished the survey and you've taken your car to a dismantle to have a pre-inspection, then you receive a letter from the Air District via email that we call an award letter. That means that we have set aside grant funds for you, and it includes the dollar amount and it includes the type of replacement option you've selected. So it'll say, you know, here's $9,500 for a new or used battery electric car. Then once you have the award letter, you can go shopping at any one of our authorized dealerships. So we have over 50 dealerships that we work with here in the Bay Area, a mix of franchise dealerships and small business used dealerships. And two of our used dealerships actually specialize in electric vehicles, so they're able to really give a hands-on touch for folks who are brand new to EVs. And then if you select a Clipper card, a public transit voucher, we'll send you the prepaid card in the mail that you can load your Clipper card with. So the idea being that you have an online Clipper card account and you use the prepaid card that we send you to add, you know, a couple $100 every month for you to kind of go and traverse the Bay Area on public transit. And the final step is to turn in that old car to an authorized dismantler, and those parts will be scrapped and recycled. And thereby kind of completing the loop of the scrap and replace program that is Clean Cars for All. One thing that is not covered on this slide, which is part of the process, is the home charger or the portable charge card. And that's something that you apply for at a later date, but you can indicate an interest in that option as you are applying for the grant. Next slide, please. Great, so I wanted to provide you guys with an example grantee based on someone who has gone through our program. And I have two slides. This first is a used Chevy Spark. So you can see it's a petite little EV. It's a full battery electric car. It's also used, so it's a model year 2016. And it gets around 82 miles per gallon electric, MPGe. Now that's a shorter range. It is an older EV, but it's perfect for folks who just have a few errands to run around town. You know, maybe they want to hop from Berkeley to Oakland to San Francisco. 82 miles is that's perfectly capable of doing that. Driving all the way down to Southern California might be a bit more difficult. You need to stop several times along the way. But let's take a look at the cost breakdown. So the list price on this used Chevy Spark is a little over $8,000. Taxes are another $700, fees another $500. The Clean Cars for All grant for this individual, let's say it's $9,500, but the total doesn't even come up to that much because the list price is so low. It's such a great deal. So the grant that they would get would be slightly less than $9,500, which is $9,492 if you're doing the math along with me. And so the final out-of-pocket costs for this grantee is $0. So they are trading in their old car for a used electric vehicle with zero money out of their pocket. This is, I would say, a good chunk of folks who go through our program end up going with this type of setup where they are able to find a car that meets their needs for less than $9,500, and they're able to get into that car with no money out of pocket. And that's what we love to see. Next slide, please. So slightly different scenario. This example grantee wants a new Prius Prime. This is a plug-in hybrid vehicle, which is similar to what Julia talked about would be her perfect kind of car. So it runs on both gas and electric, but you can turn it on electric only mode and have zero emissions as you're driving around. In this example, it's a brand new car, model year 2020, and it gets 25 miles per gallon in EV mode only. That's MPGe. Let's look at the cost breakdown. So the list price based on our dealerships we work with is around $29,000, maybe a little bit more. Taxes will run you another $2,600, fees another $500. But what's cool is that you can apply for CVRP for this program. So let's say you get that plus up and you get $3,500 taken off the list price. Again, this is after you purchase it, but I'm including everything for the sake of this example. Then you might also apply for the federal tax credit, assuming Toyota hasn't run out of them. That's another $4,502 for a plug-in hybrid. And then let's say you live in PG&E's territory and you apply for that $800 credit for driving an EV and plugging it in at home. On top of all that, you've also got your $9,500 Clean Cars for All grant rebate. The final cost of that, $30,000 car comes to $14,405 out-of-pocket costs. So you can see how everything kind of comes together and really lowers the cost for folks who are in the greatest need of this type of public assistance. And then, sorry, CVRP is a Clean Vehicle Rebate Project, which is the program that Julia mentioned. It's a state rebate program. I think we're nearing the end, so next slide. Yeah, that's it. I hope that was helpful. We have tons of information on our website. You also have my email address, and please feel free to email me. The number on our website is also, we provide support in both English and Spanish, and we have English and Spanish language materials on our website as well. So I encourage you all to look there. Send me any questions you have. I'll do my best to answer them or forward them on to someone who can best serve you. So thank you again to National Drive Electric Week for having us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Let me see if I can get my video on. Oops, sounds like that was not an electric motorcycle. So thank you again, Rebecca. Actually, before COVID hit and I go do presentations in different communities, Clean Cars for All was a big hit, and that $7,500 Clipper card was a big wow factor for many people. So an awesome, awesome program. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing this wonderful program with everybody.
Yeah, happy to. And I realized I didn't take a chance to look at the chat box, and I just want to answer one question that was put in there about our wait list. So we were swamped earlier by a ton of applications, which is a wonderful problem to have. And so we need to slow everything down. So we've instituted a wait list. We're also applying for more funding. So it's likely that we will move almost everyone off the wait list as of now. So if you're interested in applying, I would encourage you to apply ASAP so you can get high up on the wait list. We'll be going through applications on a first come, first serve basis. So don't be deterred by the wait list. Just know that it'll take us a while to get back to you just because of the rush of applications that we've received this summer, which I think might be correlated to some of the economic difficulties folks are having because of COVID. So please just bear with us as we deal with that. Thanks, Julia.
Problem. Thank you, Rebecca. And again, thank you also, Adrian. Both such helpful presentations. So we've gone over those financial EV incentive programs, but the benefits do not stop there. So in addition, you help improve your local air quality and public health by reducing your tailpipe emissions. You lower your fuel costs over your vehicle lifetime. You lower your lifetime maintenance costs because if you don't have any oil, why do you need an oil change? And then 4, you can get a federal tax credit. Rebecca did mention this one, and this is up to $7,500. 5, you can get HOV lane access, and I'll go over that in the next slide. And 6, another thing Rebecca mentioned, thank you, is that you can also get energy savings with your utility company, which for many participants right now may be PG&E. So more about that HOV lane access sticker. So as far as new cars go, all new CVRP approved vehicles are eligible for this clean air vehicle decal. And this decal is valid for up to 4 years. And basically what this does is, even if you're, let's say you're driving on the Bay Bridge and is there an HOV lane there? But anyway, even if you're by yourself in your car and you have you have this sticker, you'd be able to get access to that HOV lane and speed up your transportation. And then as used cars go, your household income must be at or below $65,760. As an example, let's say you purchased a used car and it already came with stickers. As long as your household income is below $65,760, you would be able to get another sticker, which would be this orange one. That's the current one right now. So as far as the process, you'd apply on the DMV website. It's currently $22 that you'd need to mail in. And for more details about this, since there are lots of details with this HOV lane access. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to contact the California Department of Motor Vehicles at dmv.ca.gov. So, any questions here? Great point by Guy. Since the HOV lane decal is good for a certain amount of years, so 3 years plus the year you apply in, it's best to wait and apply in January. Very great point. Thank you, Guy. So now that we've gone over everything, kind of hit you all with a bunch of these benefits, let me go over a brief timeline, just real quick, since Adrian and Rebecca did a great job already kind of explaining the process. So if you go the CVA program and CVRP route, you would first apply for CVA, of course, and this is a 35-day window to purchase or lease your EV. You'd select your EV and financing. And again, I'll just go over this quickly since they've already done a really great summary. And then exciting part, you'll drive home your new EV And once your EV is in your hands, you go ahead and apply for the CVRP rebate. And although you do have up to 3 months from your purchase or lease date, we encourage you to apply sooner rather than later so that you can get your rebate even quicker. And the last step would be to apply for your utility or air district rebate. Now, if you go for the Clean Cars for All route, but if you want to scrap a vehicle, you'd apply for the Clean Cars for All grant, select your EV and financing. Exciting part again, you'll drive home your new EV. After that, you'll apply for the CVRP rebate, and then you'll apply for your utility or air district rebate. So something I want to note real quick, I know we're coming down to the wire here, but CVRP does stack with these programs, but do note that you cannot do both Clean Cars for All and the CVA program. So you'd have to choose one or the other. So if you are looking to retire a vehicle, it's probably best to go the Clean Cars for All route and then stack CVRP with it. And if not, you can go with the CVA program route and then stack CVRP with it. So just a quick note there. And we're coming to the end here. Also on the Clean Vehicle Rebate website, we have a savings calculator. So that's cleanvehiclerebate.org/ENG/community/savings. This is an easy to use calculator available in both English and Spanish, and it shows all the local incentives in one place. So once you plug in your zip code, your household size, your household income, the vehicle type you're looking to purchase or lease, whether it's new or used, whether you're going to scrap a vehicle, and who your utility provider is. Once you put in all that information, you'll hit calculate and you'll get a summary of all the different programs you may be eligible for. So it's a really handy tool. And even if you use it now and don't plan on, purchasing anytime soon, you do have the option, I believe, to download and email that summary to yourself. And another option, you could just go back to the savings calculator and just plug in your information again, since it is pretty easy to use. So as far as local resources, in addition to the CVRP team, to CVA and Clean Cars for All, CVRP does have a community partner network who's also very knowledgeable about CVRP. So in the Sacramento area, we have the Community Resource Project. In the Central Valley, we have Central California Asthma Collaborative. In the Inland Empire, we've got Reach Out. In LA, Liberty Hill Foundation. In the Imperial Valley, Comité Cívico. And in the San Diego area, we've got the MAC Project and Groundwork. So it's definitely an exciting time to be a part of this EV movement. And that's about it. It's 5:28. If you have any questions for me or for any of our guest speakers today, we did provide our emails there before, and mine is julia.rivera@energycenter.org. And last but not least, I just want to say a final thank you to the Electric Auto Association. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's wonderful to be able to share, this EV education with a wider audience. So thank you so much, everyone. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to shoot us an email, and have a great rest of your day. If anyone else has any final remarks, please feel free to jump in.
Great. Thank you so much, Julia. And thank you to everybody else for presenting as well, Adrian and Rebecca. It's wonderful to have you guys sharing these programs with everybody. I did add Julia's email in there as well. Maybe Rebecca, if you want to add yours in quickly as well, so it's easy access for people. Other than that, I wanted to just make another shout out for Drive Electric Week. There are lots of other events that are happening this week, so I highly suggest you check them out. I will copy that link into the chat box again. And that's about it. Marisol, did you have anything?
Just real quick, for those still with us, CVRP, and I know Clean Vehicle Assistance Program and Clean Cars for All, we all do different presentations. So if you want to hear from us, if you want us to present on I present in English and in Spanish, and we do present these programs as well if Adrian or Rebecca are not able to join us. So please shoot Julia an email and she will connect us and we will present virtually. It's so much easier. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. And that's it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.